Electricast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Claudia Monticelli, your host, and of this wonderful podcast, Let's Talk Soul. And today I have quite an interesting guest, Craig Cooke. Say hello, Craig, to our audience.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Claudia, for having me, and I'm excited to speak with you and share what I can today.
Yeah, I can't wait to start, so I will. Craig is speaking to us from California today, so there's a little lag. I hope it doesn't change our audio, but I'm sure I'm sure it'll be okay. So, who is Craig Cooke? Now, he has a few hats, so bear with me. I hope I get it all right. He's a successful entrepreneur who had the foresight to start a digital first company utilizing the internet long before digital first, digital transformation, and other buzzwords of today were created. With very few resources of $1,300 and an Apple computer, he started rhythmnet.com with a couple of friends from college. And over the years of struggle, adaptation, and repositioning the brand, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. Rhythm was sold to a Rhythm was sold to a world-class digital creative company in 2019. Craig stayed with the company for just over 3 years, completing a 26-year marathon of running the company as CEO. Now is where the interesting part, another hat comes out here. Today, Craig shares his business wisdom, experience, and expertise in 3 key areas: executive leadership, brand development, and marketing communications. He continues his training. Now, this is quite, when I came across this, I thought, oh, who is this man? He has studied and served as a practitioner. Wait, I'm getting ahead. He continues his training in martial arts, continuously learning and evolving his skills. Also, he has studied and served as a practitioner of Chinese medical Qigong since 2015. I want to put a pin in that, but I'll come back. Bringing energy healing to hundreds of people. Currently, he's pursuing a doctorate. I am on my knees bowing to you. A doctorate of Chinese energy medicine from the Temple of Change and Transformation. Craig incorporates his skill, knowledge, and expertise in energetic practices into the world of business to provide a truly unique perspective and method in working with professionals across a wide variety of industries. Now, of course, in the description of this episode, I'll put all of his links and how you can contact him. Now, Craig, I can't say what's a nice boy like you doing in a place like this, because usually as a podcaster, this is the way it develops. There's something that happens. People start out in the business world, and all of a sudden a light goes up, a light bulb all over their head, and then they get into there's a sort of a spin-off from what they were doing, but it's always linked to an event. Is that the same for you, Craig?
Yeah, that's really interesting. It was definitely an evolution and a single event. Well, I would say, when I started studying medical Qigong, Chinese medical Qigong, that was a big deal for me. That was a big game changer for me in running my business. But also, really personal development, which I was always very interested in, and from my martial arts training helped me quite a bit.
Yes.
But this was different. It was just a much more in depth journey, and it actually was. I had a natural spiritual connection from way back when I was a kid, just naturally attuned to the world of
But
spirit. However,
is that
when I
a link
started
through
studying Chinese Medical
martial
Qigong,
arts alone? I mean, when someone does and has something to do with martial arts, there's always a very strong spiritual component. But my burning question is, from there to get into a PhD program, that's a huge step. And what is it? Because when people go into doctoral degree programs, they want to do research or teach or something. But here at this level, it's about furthering your research. Is that correct?
it's really advancing my abilities as a Qigong practitioner and what
Yes.
I'm able to do for others. That's of primary importance. The research part, yes, comes into play, but I don't want to be stuck in the world of
Of course.
academics, say, and kind
Yes.
of a academic mindset. I want to be much more focused on the execution, the actual practical execution for
Okay.
myself and others.
Good. I am, you probably know of this, a Feldenkrais practitioner. Uh, Feldenkrais practitioners are sort of halfway between physiotherapists and chiropractors. So it's a hands on. And since you spoke about the practical side, I'm thinking the learning that after 4 years, I learn now as soon as I put my hands on someone. And I'm wondering, that's still, a big step behind doing a doctoral program. What is it in that doctoral program that gives you that added plus or has attracted you to it?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. So,
Hmm.
and to clarify, it's a professional doctorate program. So,
Yes,
I believe there's a difference between like an
yes.
academic PhD and then
Now, yeah,
a
yeah.
professional doctorate program
Hmm.
where it's yeah. So that's what this program is. But to answer your question, it's one of the big things. It's taught by one of the most respected qigong masters in the
I see.
space. Dr. Jerry Allen Johnson. He's been at it for 50 years. He was the first, to my understanding, he was the first Westerner allowed to practice in the medical qigong clinics in China.
How interesting.
And yeah, because he was highly skilled.
Mm,
But he went to China to advance his skills further because that was the origin of
yes.
qigong. It's a ancient Chinese system, and then he came back to the States, and I think that was in the early 90s, mid
Hmm.
90s, when he was doing that. And then he further advanced, and he's just a really just incredible, amazing encyclopedia of knowledge
Uh-huh.
and ability
I
when
see.
it comes to this field. He's written tons
Yes.
of books, um, and he's really one of a kind. And
Um,
that was the big thing, was really getting
I
to learn
see.
directly from him.
And of course, being a direct disciple of someone like that is you can't. I mean, it's something that has no. You can't put a dollar sign on it. Now, what? This is what I want to concentrate when we go forward here. Um, all right, Qigong, the martial, the medical, and the spiritual. Um, what is it? I mean, do you work on a one-to-one basis with people?
Yes, I do, and you have it exactly right. There's um, from a traditional thinking, there's
Yeah.
three branches of Qigong: the martial, the medical, and the spiritual.
Yeah.
And yes, I do work with people one-on-one, but I can also work in group settings as well. It just kind of depends. So when I work with people one-on-one, they're normally coming in for an energy medicine. That's kind of like a blanket term, right?
Well, what is
Session.
energy? I know it's a basic question, but our audience is varied. What is energy medicine?
Yeah, great. So let's take a step back, and let's for people that out there that could have healthy skepticism, because
Right,
sometimes people feel like, yeah, this just sounds too strange for me, right?
right.
Um, right. We look at some of the most renowned scientists of our time, like Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla. They both have stated, and in their own way, that everything is
Mm-hmm.
energy, frequency, and
Yeah.
vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Qigong is energy skill. It literally means um, skill, which is Qi, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Qi is energy or life
Right.
force energy. And then Gong is skill. So the skill of working with life force energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, I like to state that everything is information expressed as energy vibrating at various frequencies. So when you're working with energy, you're working with our energetic anatomy.
Yeah.
Just like we have a physical anatomy,
Sure.
we have an energetic anatomy.
Right.
And that's what people uh, need to develop an understanding to make sense of this, so that it's just not this like strange thing. Again, scientists have said everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. We have
Right.
a whole energetic anatomy, just like our physical anatomy. And then the skill of working with energy is directing and guiding energy to in specific patterns,
Mm-hmm.
following specific protocols to have specific outcomes to address specific conditions.
Okay.
And that's
Now,
that.
this is, we talk of protocols, physicians, everyone who works in a systematic manner work with protocols. Doing it with energy is a bit more abstract for a common person. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm going to ask you questions that may seem basic. What type of person comes to you, for example?
Life is hard, but finding a really great podcast makes the days go by so much easier. Hi, my name is Blue Telusma. I'm a writer, an emotional intelligence coach, and the host of Humanize with Blue Telusma, a podcast where we believe that when you humanize everyone in the room, a great conversation is almost guaranteed. Join us every week here on Electricast as me and my guest co-hosts unpack big topics and interview even bigger personalities with a sense of humor and a dash of mischief. If you're looking for a new best friend in your head, we've got you covered. Electricast.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
work as a medium and I also work with energy. People often come to me when nothing else has worked for them. And I work
Mm.
with medical intuition. In your case, what kind of person comes to you?
It's a variety of people, but if I had to kind of have a general grouping, I would
Right.
say it's a lot of professional type people,
Okay.
people that have careers in various fields of business, like executives or specialists, at are in their midst of their career, and they have a variety of stresses and pressures and various emotional um, things going on that can affect their emotional and mental state. And I think why that is the common, again, there's all kinds of different people, ages,
Mm-hmm.
age ranges, and males, females. Um, but I think because of my experience and my background and
Right.
how I have my story, the divine just brings these people to me
Yes.
because I'm relatable.
Okay.
Uh, and they can listen to me talk about this strange abstract
Right.
topic, right?
Sure.
And be like, well, okay, he's like me. He's been a professional. He
Yes.
understands my world.
Right. Right.
he can't be that crazy, right? So they're a little more open-minded and receptive. But it's interesting though. I would say in the past few years, there's so much more openness and receptivity to this topic. Yes, people are really seeking it out. So it's not really all that strange anymore.
Right.
A lot of people are very interested. But yeah, to answer your question, that's pretty much the common grouping that comes to.
So by word of mouth, I heard about you. Okay, so I gravitate. The universe brings me to you. Okay, and my name is blah 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 blah. How do you deal with me, and what are the first steps to? What is an intake process for you?
So you broke up for about 10 seconds on me.
Okay. Yeah.
Siri interrupted you when I heard up to where you said through word of mouth you heard about me. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We are 9 hours apart, and there are going to be some glitches. So I said, by word of mouth, a colleague of mine suggested you. I write to you, and I tell you a very little bit about myself. What is your next step? What is your intake process?
Sure. So normally when people come to me, and I learned this intake process from my first instructor, his name's Russ Anderson, really talented individual, and he focuses on mediumship, actually. That's his main focus today.
Interesting.
Yeah, highly intuitive. And he just actually studied under Dr. Johnson as well for a period of time, and also another pretty renowned master as well. And he has his whole very interesting journey. Mm-hmm. But I studied under him for 6 years directly. Mm-hmm. And through learning under him, I kind of follow his style. So the first half of a session is sitting down with someone and then doing an intuitive reading to find out what's going on currently with them. As someone practices Qigong and does all this energy cultivation, as you know, but for the audience out there, you start to develop your energetic anatomy, which also opens up your channels to be able to become a receiver of information. Mm-hmm. Again, I stated earlier that everything is information expressed as energy, vibrating at various frequencies. So as you're doing this cultivation work, you're tuning your body just like if you're tuning a guitar or some other musical instrument, right? And now you're able to receive information that is all around us, right? Yeah. And that information informs, that information needs to be translated because it's the kind of the language of spirit, how things come in, and there's that translation, but then also the interpretation.
Right? Sure.
Right. So
my
with
first,
that,
hold on, Craig. I'll stop you because here I would think, do you record these sessions? Because it's terrible to take notes all the time, especially in such a highly energetic session. How do you go about, taking notes, or do you do that at the end of the sessions?
I'll take notes at the end of the session. I'm surprised people don't ask to record because whenever I've been on that side, I always record.
Always, yes.
Yeah, that's just me. But I don't want to. I just want to make the environment very comfortable for people. Yes. So if they would want to record, I'd be fine with it, but I don't want to impose that on anyone. But I take notes. But it is challenging because I don't know if this happens to you, but during that portion, once it's all done and over, session's done, I forget like half of it.
Of course.
Of what was discussed.
Yeah. And would it be, what is an average? I know everyone's different, all different ages, all different walks of life, but what is an average number of times the person comes back to you? I don't know. I have a session with you, then after a few weeks, I come back, and after a month, how does that usually develop?
Yeah, so it is different for
Hmm.
everyone because
Yes.
everyone is unique and different with their own unique situation in life.
Hmm.
However, um, I have a number of people that just kind of come at different cadences.
Yes.
So one gentleman I'm thinking of, for example, he comes in about once every 4 to 6 weeks or so,
Yeah.
which was kind of the way I started when I
Hmm.
first encountered Russ Anderson.
Good.
And I went to see him once a month or so
Hmm.
for like 6 months, and I felt so much more centered and balanced, and
I
that's why
see.
it was such a big game changer for me, et
Uh-huh.
cetera. And then I got on the path,
So you're
awakening path.
saying 3 sessions after which you felt like a new man?
I say it was six.
6.
Yeah,
Okay.
for me it was six. Yeah, and now some people, like the one gentleman I mentioned, he comes in once every 4 to 6 weeks continuously. However, it's because he is high, just kind of like me, how I was just really interested and fascinated by the
Yeah.
entire topic, and he going through an unfolding of his spiritual path,
Uh-huh.
and this is helping him. And he's very disciplined and does the work that I
Yeah.
gave him, because it's not just the session itself, it's the
Uh-huh.
qigong prescriptions
I
that I
see.
provide. So
Hmm.
yeah, so he does the work ongoing himself,
Right.
and then he comes back for further development. Some people, a lot of people, it's kind of maybe once every 3 months, once every
Okay.
6 months. It's just kind of, they don't
Hmm.
have anything heavy going on. So
Right.
I just say whenever it feels right or my
Hmm.
name pops in their head, just reach out and let's book a
Hmm.
session. Some people though, they do
Hmm.
have serious things going on, much heavier things going on, and especially if it's like a more of a physical issue, then it's like, well, come in once a week for
When
six
you
weeks.
say physical issue, can you give us an example?
Sure. So there was a gentleman that came in probably about 6 months ago that just
Hmm.
comes to mind, and he had some concerns of how he had an epileptic seizure the
Yeah.
year before, and he was on medication, and
Hmm.
I think maybe he had 2 seizures, and he was had a lot of fear about that.
Uh-huh.
And and so he came in. He was recommended to me.
You're
So he
right.
came in. We had the session, and as I was working on him, I actually sensed, felt a whole different issue with his nervous system.
Ah.
Um, and I was like, "Wow, this is his nervous system was like
How
misfiring."
did you communicate that to him?
So
Or
I
did you?
mentioned after the
Did you?
I did communicate it
Uh-huh.
to him.
Hmm.
After the session was finished, I mentioned, there's something else I picked up here. There's an irregularity with your nervous system. I'm feeling it. It's firing in very irregular patterns,
Right.
and and we should work on this. This is something that we should resolve and work on, because it's and I had never actually experienced that before.
Hmm.
Um, so he was very receptive and open,
Good.
and
Good.
so he came in once a week for 6 weeks. Um, Actually, for him, by the fifth session, it was all gone.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. So
I mean,
he didn't. Yeah, he didn't need to come in for the full
it could
six.
lead
Yes.
to life-threatening situations if left unchecked. Um, this is my experience. Um,
Mm.
this now I'm going on to a different topic because I looked to everywhere, but I didn't see the author Craig Cooke. Did Craig Cooke become an author along the way?
Yes, I just became a published author as of about 3 months ago. So
Oh,
yeah, that's
you
hence
didn't
why
tell me.
the name. Oh yeah, surprise!
Wow.
Yeah, just 3 months ago, I published my first book, Business Kung Fu,
I like
and
that. My first book. I like that. So it's
thank you,
called
thank you.
Business Kung Fu. There, the audience won't have the benefit of the A book which is black and white and red. I like that. I like the colors. Business Kung Fu. All right.
Thank
Business
you.
Kung Fu. Well, the message is out there. And 3 months ago, it's easily available in Amazon, for example.
Yes, that's only outlet at the moment where it's
Mm-hmm.
available at Amazon and paperback, hardcover, and
Mm-hmm.
Kindle format. Hopefully I'll release it in other channels and formats. It's a whole new world for me. It's
I
like,
can
wow,
imagine.
yeah,
Why do you
there's a lot to
say
do.
that? Why do you say that?
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to write a book and get it done,
Yeah.
and that actually I've been working on it for 12 years.
I
and
know. Some things take a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, some things take a long time.
All right. Now you said, I heard you very clearly, my first book. All right. So there are somewhere in those drawers at home there notes for more, right?
Yes, very perceptive of you. Yes, I would like to, I would like to
Good.
write some more books.
Like mine's work. I mean, I have plans
Right,
all
right.
over my computer. So
Right, yeah.
would
There's
it
so much to
be
do.
in the same vein? Would it be Business Kung Fu developed or an offshoot? Just give us a little sneak peek.
Sure. Yeah, I have been thinking of like a series, a
Uh-huh.
business kung
Good.
fu series.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the ideas I have is going deeper into certain topics in the book. Like, for example, I have 5 elements of entrepreneurship, a model
Uh-huh.
that's based on 5-element theory in
Right.
Chinese culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about going into taking a much deeper dive because, I explain it, but
Right.
it's, high level.
Right.
So that's one thing. And then 2 is, I mentioned Qigong in the book and how
Qigong.
it was a game changer for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to also have another one that is more focused on that as
Right.
well and what it can do
Right.
for
Right.
for
And
professionals.
another burning question I have, surely you are working on teaching, right?
Yeah, very, very good.
Okay.
Yes. So, yes, I would like to. I enjoy the one-on-one work with people,
Yes.
and I'll continue to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want that to become something where, let's say I'm doing that 40 hours a week or
Right.
whatever, and it becomes too monotonous, or
Yeah.
the joy in doing that is diminished. Like, I don't want
Okay.
that to happen. So I want to keep that going,
Yeah.
but I would like to reach more people, and I can do that through teaching,
Okay.
say in the
Yes.
format of workshops,
Of course.
for example.
Online,
Yeah,
anything. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've experimented a little bit with some workshop formats, and I've actually just last month I was leading a mastermind group in the morning through some Qigong practices, about 30 people or so, and they were really open and receptive to it, and they came up to me afterwards like, "Wow, this is great!" And
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
I looked, I went to the other person and I said, "Wow, I can feel energy. Like, this is weird. Like, wow, what's going on here?" Like, it's like, well, it's real.
I didn't smoke anything. Yeah, I know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say one day, I met that guy. I know him. Craig, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on my show for this interview. Of course, the door's always open. You did talk about Kung Fu, your Kung Fu book, the first, but you did talk about the series. You knock on my door when you're ready with, to talk about your workshops or something, the next level. Okay?
Perfect. Okay. That sounds perfect. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, Craig.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow Let's Talk Soul Podcast on Instagram. Let's Talk Soul Podcast is a production of Electrocast Media. Our executive producers are Mark Netter and Peter Rafelson. If you like our show and like what you hear, please subscribe and give us a rating wherever you enjoy podcasts. And remember, stay curious, stay inspired, and never stop exploring the depths of your soul.
Welcome to Sarah Talk Solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, you've tuned into a bit of a different type of show. I'm Sarah B and I'm your host. You can find me on my IG, which is Aussie_Sarah_LA. I talk about amazing, relevant conversations and topics and what functions that goes on in this magical, wonderful, wonderful city of the City of Angels. My IG, which is Aussie_Sarah_LA.
Electric acid.
Are you passionate about saving the planet for future generations? Do you want to learn how to do it? If yes, then you need to tune in to the Nature Backed podcast. It's a talk show covering the changing world around us, from renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, circular economy, to ESG and social innovation. Don't miss this opportunity to discover how you can join the movement and make a difference. Subscribe to the Nature Backed podcast today on your favorite platform and get ready to be amazed.